There's a pitfall here. Imagine you didn't take that shitty job.
So you mean when we set this up, we give this person an easy job to do rather than a difficult one because we want this to work?
Yeah, God. Yeah,
okay, so we won't pick our worst performing job. We'll pick a better one of our nice products.
Well, it might put your existing organisation to crisis rather fast.
Well, yeah.
And this is what I want to come on to.
So we're going to take a good one out rather than a bad one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Now, you take the good one out, and there's very little hassle with the customers. There's very little quality problems. There's very little delivery problems. And suppliers are all doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And there's profit to be made out of it. Okay, which you're sharing 20% with the fellow, and everything looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But you haven't actually changed very much, and there's no need to change anything. But return back to the original business from which you've removed this good work. And the problem is that your 3 series or 5 series has to make a pot of money to fund the development of the next car, the next model.
So it's a bit selfish to just take out a fractal bit of the good bit.
Because that bit was supposed to be paying off and subsidising the other departments.
And how will a new product ever get developed if it has to pay for itself straight away in a fractal world?
In a fractal world, that's a completely different thing. But for the original business, what you do, because the profitable jobs are a small percentage, and you've taken one of them out, and you know that the jobs are the production work is a much bigger proportion than the sales, and obviously the sales is doing a bigger proportion of new business development.
Right.
Because that's where the effort is. Certainly not on this job, because it was easy.
So are you saying we have to take some of the profit from this to pay for these?
If you take a good job, and the incentive is lacking because you don't have to fix anything. So there's a paradox that far from putting a thumb on the scale to improve the prospect of this experiment by taking a good job out.
You want to take the worst one and
because
see what
if you take a good one out, you not only have the prospect that you don't improve it and the numbers don't look great down here in terms of improvements, you have the possibility that you put the rest of your organisation into some new crisis.
Should we take out just an average one or a quite bad one rather than a terrible one that's going to be a nightmare for the poor bloke who's running the fractal bit?
Well, it's got to be done on a volunteer basis. So you want somebody who says, I reckon I
could make a go of that.
I suppose I look at it in a slightly different light, and that is that ultimately, if the guy is using an existing design, he has to pay for that. In other words, there has to be some sort of royalty to pay for design, which that money then floods back into the design department to maintain its going. So I'm not so worried about that, because I think there's mechanisms.
Or if you've got a really good customer who just keeps ordering, then you need to pay sales for that in some way. So
there's lots of different ways to achieve that. There's finder's
fee or whatever you
whatever you choose to do. So you're not fixed anywhere.